What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living Arizona, and today we're going to talk about moving to Arizona and managing expectations. The reason this video comes about is because location really is a big determination of how you're going to enjoy any location, whether you're doing business or whether you're doing whether you're moving with your family or whatever the case may be. So. This is all about managing expectations when moving to Arizona, but we're going to highlight Phoenix and Tucson really in this video. And so this comes about because I've noticed that sometimes people get overly excited. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave where I'm coming from and I'm gonna move there." And this managing of expectations is really highlighted in my mind because when I travel, I'll go to like Washington, D.C., and I'll be like, man, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., and then it doesn't live up to my expectations. I'm going to go to New York City, and then it may or may not live up to my expectations. And so I think when you're moving anywhere, some places might exceed your expectations because you didn't fully give it credit that it was due, and some places might and I only say this because, it's kind of like, oh, I thought it was going to be better than it was. So when I see people getting overly excited about Phoenix, I'm kind of like, well, let's make sure we get you into the right situation or make sure you are aware of some of the pros and the cons. So that in a way, this is a pros and cons video, but managing expectations. So if you're moving to Phoenix, not all of Phoenix Metro is going to be perfect for you. So for example, if you like to walk, if you're not the type of person who likes to drive anywhere, you don't want to end up in the suburbs. Okay, you don't want to end up in Santan Valley. You don't want to end up in maybe even not even Gilbert. You don't want to end up in Peoria. There's a city center in Phoenix, and there's 2 or 3 ways to look at the city center. By the way, thanks to all the 3 people who crushed up the likes already. So I appreciate you guys who tuned in and cranked up those likes. I am in Austin, Texas right now, filming with Island Hopper TV. If you haven't already seen those videos, you guys can click over there and check those out. But let's get back on subject because I see you guys are asking the questions. So managing the expectations, right? Buckeye, for example, if you're moving to Phoenix thinking, well, I'm going to go to Suns games, I'm going to go to all these events, and I'm going to go to Scottsdale. Buckeye's clear on the other side of town in Scottsdale. Like the odds of you going to Scottsdale from Buckeye, I mean, you're going to be an hour and a half away. If you think you're going to be hanging out in Old Town Scottsdale and you're living out in Santan Valley, same kind of deal. So you have to manage expectations realistically. Like, are you aware that when you're moving to Santan Valley, you're going to be getting peace and quiet? You're going to be moving into a big house, a big, beautiful house for a really good price, but it's going to be way far away from the food, the city centers, and all that. You're not going to get vibrance and community, and in order to get that, you're going to have to go 25 minutes away, 35 minutes away by car. Okay, so if you're trying to go out for a night on the town drinking, you're going to have to Uber it, and it's going to take 30 to 35 minutes. That's a long Uber ride to get to, so yeah, you might be saving money moving to a suburb like Santan Valley or Buckeye, 2 polar opposite sides of the city, but keep that in mind. So when reason I say this is because people are like, yeah, I'm going to go there and everything's going to be great. Well, it can be pretty good, but you're kind of going to have to be aware of certain factors. And so if you're moving to Scottsdale, for example, you're going to be in the hustle and bustle of it all. So if you're moving from a place like, I don't know, Boston, and you're moving to Phoenix because you're like, oh, it's going to be so peaceful, everyone's going to be friendly, and everything's going to be hunky-dory. No, Scottsdale's the middle of the zoo. It's crazy down there. It's crazy town. Or if you're moving from, say, Philly to get away from people are always commenting on my videos. I don't know if it's the same person or someone. They're like, oh, you think Phoenix is ghetto? You think Phoenix is hood? You think Tucson's hood? Try coming to Philly. I don't know. Philly just keeps coming up. And I was recently in Philly. Philly's pretty gangster. Philly's got some pretty crazy spots, no doubt. But if you're going to South Phoenix, McDowell, that whole area right there, you're trading one for another, just a different variety. You're going to get desert maniacs, and you're trading the Philly maniacs for the desert maniacs. I mean, little bit different. It's like trading crack for meth, because down in Phoenix, the drug of choice is not crack, it's meth. Anyway, so let's see. Wilford, what'd you say? Hey, what's up, Peter Brown? What's up, Lindsay? What's up, Linda G? Nick Sutton, Metal Fever, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, you're not going to get away from crime by magically moving to Phoenix, but there are parts of Phoenix that are going to have lower crime. When I say Scottsdale, South Scottsdale is a little bit closer to Tempe, which is a little bit closer to South Phoenix, and it gets a little bit rambunctious. North Scottsdale, pretty safe, but you go right across the way, Scottsdale Road, to the west of Scottsdale Road, it starts to tune up a little bit. And as you go down Bell Road, you're talking 56th Street all the way towards Central Bell Road. That not too far away from North Scottsdale, where it's heavenly or peaceful. You'll be right there in North Phoenix. And you guys have seen Big Super's videos about North Phoenix, so you know. Let's see. What's up, Lindsay? What are you saying? I see all the time on the Facebook groups. Oh yeah, ooh to the crackheads. Well, yeah, crackheads. I mean, in Boston they have this whole area where they've taken all of the people who are on heroin and like whatever they're on, and they put them in what they call the methadone mile. So it's like what the mayor of Boston did was he wanted to move all of the homeless into a concentrated area up on a hill. And it's still like Boston, but it's outside. It got them out of it gave them an area to kind of like do their drugs. So you'll be driving down the road and you got some guy over here shooting up heroin into his neck, some lady shooting heroin into his neck, and got their arm wrapped up, and you're like, wow. And you see that in Boston, and you're like, wow. So there's these homeless encampments that exist in all cities, but if you're moving to Phoenix, where's the homeless encampments? Do you know where they're at? Have you asked anyone? And I'll tell you right now, anywhere along that light rail, for the most part, if you're along the light rail, that's where the homeless line up. Because the homeless use that light rail line. They've hijacked it. I mean, the homeless in Phoenix have hijacked the light rail. You get on a light rail in Phoenix, I mean, in theory, you're like, oh, great, I'll go ride the light rail. That sounds great. I'll gladly park and ride. You'll park your car at a parking lot in Mesa and ride to downtown Phoenix where your office is and save the gas and save the environment. But you get on there and you're going to be around a whole bunch of homeless people on there trying to basically sell you everything from screwdrivers to hacksaws to like asking you for $2. And that's just not fun. But this is what I'm talking about, managing the expectations. So do you want to be in the city centers of places where you're going to be dealing with people who are constantly going to be coming up to you at the gas station saying, yo, bruh, give me $2? Well, first of all, I'm not your bruh. Second of all, I don't think I have $2 on me. And third of all, if I did have $2, why should I give it to you so you can go do what with it, And so, I mean, that's why certain areas of Phoenix, you can actually get away from that. Honestly, Gilbert. This is why we keep talking about Gilbert, because Gilbert is on an island. It's like safe from that junk, that homeless harassment and it's not, we're not talking about getting away from homeless people who are really needed help. We're talking about getting away from people who are sleeping outside using drugs and alcohol. Okay, because I don't know if my numbers are correct, but maybe 2 out of 10 homeless people that I come across are legitimately homeless because of bad times, like because they weren't, but 8 out of 10 of them are homeless and sleeping outside because of personal decisions to not conform to society and also use drugs and just not being very pleasant people who couldn't find jobs. Like they didn't want to become pleasant. They didn't want to learn the game of life. So they ended up sleeping outside. But 2 out of 10 of them, you'll notice, they're homeless and they need help. So those people, we're not talking about them. They're real people who really could use a helping hand. And the other 8 out of 10, they could use a helping hand, but I don't really like when they're coming up to me, harassing me every single day. So when you're in Phoenix, you want to you might want to stay away from that kind of stuff because it's not fun, waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, showing up to the gas station at 8 and have someone stalking you as you're getting out of your car, going into the gas station to get your coffee. And when you're coming out, they're waiting for you and they're basically going to get in your face and ask you for $2, and you don't have a choice but to give them $2. Some of you are saying, "Oh, Jeff, that's so non friendly of you. You should give them the $2." And I'm like, I don't have a problem with giving people $2 if I have it on me, but when they're forcing me to give them $2, no, I don't like that. Anyway, so Peter Brown says the drug use in Chicago is legit. Yeah, it's pretty big. Do I live in Gilbert? No, I don't live in Gilbert. I live in southeast Phoenix, though, metro area towards Santan Valley. I just know Gilbert really well because it's the closest safe haven to any sort of semblance of society and life for people in Southeast Valley. Mesa, downtown Mesa, as you've seen some of the videos on this channel, kind of boring, not very happy. Nick Sutton says, I've only ridden the light rail twice. What do you think of it, Nick? Where did you ride from? I mean, it's a beautiful looking track. It's a beautiful looking train. Everything seems pretty good, and I want it to work. It's just every time I get on it, I'm being constantly asked for $2 at every stop. Or if I want to buy a big jigsaw or hacksaw or something, I'm like, no, dude, I didn't come to the light rail to buy a hacksaw off you. I say that because that's what the guy was really trying to sell me. I'm like, dude, what do you want? Just $2? Here's $2. I don't want your saw. I'm not going to carry around a big saw around with me. So yeah, it is about managing expectations. I know it's a little bit of a rant, but I don't want people to move to Arizona and then, you know, after the honeymoon's over, be like, oh my God, what did I do? I just moved here from Philly. I just moved here from Boston. I just moved here from New York, and this isn't what I expected. It's desert. It's hot. It's people are different. They don't respond to me the same way. I mean, it's a different culture. I'm not getting Philly cheesesteaks. I'm getting tacos instead, you know, so there's all these different variables that are going to play in. Thank you to 17 people who crushed up the likes. We have 38 people watching, and things are going pretty good. 19th Ave in Montebello is pretty gnarly. And again, I've said this on the channel a couple times, the Avenue side is gnarly. From Central, it probably gets pretty gnarly. I mean, who said that? Jonathan Varley. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sounds like you live in Phoenix. From about 32nd Street all the way to 32nd Avenue, from northern south to South Mountain, that's like a rectangle area that people should probably not try to move to. Correct me if I'm wrong. The whole area is, you were talking Metro Center, we're talking Central Phoenix even. Like, I went down to Central Phoenix, and you know, they have this new area, Roosevelt Row, which is kind of popular, but I don't know. I don't really know if I'd feel safe at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 a.m. in Roosevelt Row, as much as I want to go down there and support local businesses in downtown Phoenix because I want a vibrant downtown atmosphere. I still don't know if it's safe. And truth be told, they don't have enough police out there to make sure it's safe. And they don't have enough reason to get the police out there to make sure it's safe. Some of these city centers, for example, the San Antonio Riverwalk. The San Antonio Riverwalk has a police presence there because they want to keep the people who are going to scare off the tourists and scare off the locals who are enjoying themselves out of the area. But it costs a lot of money to bring in that kind of enforcement. And Phoenix is the only place that really has that kind of law enforcement is downtown Scottsdale. So really, at the end of the day, you're looking at a couple places that are going to be worth your while. And I've said this a couple times. I know I keep regurgitating it, but I'm trying to make sure that people are aware of this. Scottsdale, Gilbert, Chandler. You know, if you're trying to go to all these little crazy places out here and there, I mean, again, manage your expectations because, yeah, you might be moving to Santan Valley, but you're going to be away from the city. Good. If you want to retire, hang out at the house a lot, go get a really good deal and move out to Santan Valley. If you want to retire and live in your house and spend a lot of time at your house and just go to the grocery store and back maybe twice a week, go to Buckeye. Same deal, Sun City, but they're going to give you tennis courts and golf courses in Sun City. Annika says, what's your thoughts on Albuquerque? Good. Albuquerque, Ahwatukee is Chandler with the mountain. That's it. So I mean, Ahwatukee is the same as Chandler. So when I'm saying Chandler, I'm basically saying Ahwatukee. I actually would rather live in Ahwatukee than Chandler, but it's the only difference between Ahwatukee and Chandler is you're going across the I-10. You cross the I-10 and you're at the base of the South Mountain. So Chandler, no mountains. Ahwatukee is Chandler with the mountain, if that makes sense. Okay, so Lindsay says, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, slow life. Well, if you want slow life, go check out Santan Valley because it is slow life and you're going to get a big house or a nice house. Now, they have some lots, though, that are going to be pretty small. You might be like, at the housing department, you might say, well, I want a yard with a pool, because you can get a big house, but a yard smaller than a house or a condo's yard. So Jonathan Varley, yeah, I work in security of the area, and I've seen some wild stuff, drug raids and people getting beat with pipes. The worst place I've seen is West Thomas and the 17. So what is West Thomas and the 17 in terms of avenues? That's like 20th Ave, right? 25th Ave, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact coordinates. So Linda G, on the Facebook groups, I see a lot of people who plan to move here without jobs or where they can't get nearly as much money as they do where they live now. Okay. Linda G, you can find a job in Phoenix pretty good. I mean, the housing, you might not be able to find a $100,000 a year job pretty easily in Phoenix, but finding work in Phoenix, I mean, in this day and age, the very worst thing you could do is drive for Uber, right? I mean, if things aren't working out at your primary job, say you end up, worst case scenario is you get a job working at Circle K at the convenience store or the grocery store or Walmart. You're making $12 an hour. On the side hustle, you could do Uber and you would make ends meet. I mean, so you can move to Phoenix without a job lined up, doing, as long as you're willing to put in the time doing other things. But where it gets really tricky is your living situation. Like, how are you going to be? What's your lifestyle going to be like? Because if you're on the west side of Phoenix, the lifestyle is going to probably be pretty serious. People from the west side hate hearing that too. They think I'm like really kind of a jerk about it, and I'm just trying to be realistic. Okay, I hope I'm not being repetitive here. How is Prescott Valley or Chino Valley? My wife and I are retired. You'll love Prescott Valley and Chino Valley if you're retired. If you can get a really nice house that you like, see, that's the key. That's the key. Are you getting a house that you can live in? Are you content? Because around Chino Valley and around Prescott Valley, you're going to have the Bradshaw Mountains. You're going to be able to hop, skip, and a jump away from Sedona and Jerome, the wineries in the Verde Valley. You're going to have the Verde River right there to go post up if you want to on a Saturday. You can go over to downtown Prescott, Whiskey Road to go hang out. You can go over to Flagstaff, Sedona. I already mentioned all that, right? But if you're retired, Prescott Valley is, the only thing is you're going to get a little bit of colder weather than you get in Phoenix. So that means snow. I mean, it's kind of like Colorado. Prescott Valley is like Colorado, actually. It's hard to get a job as a foreigner in Arizona. I don't think so. I mean, most of the people that are driving Ubers, most of the people that go around city to city, every city, I don't see why Phoenix would be any different, drive Uber. So that's like a worst case scenario is if you really need a job, go drive for Uber. Now, Uber doesn't pay as much as they did 2 to 3 years ago because the demand for drivers came in, and there's also Lyft, which you can also drive for. But the payout might not be enough, but you might have to work 50 hours a week and drive, a lot to make $1,000 a week, but you can do it. I talk to the drivers out here. So if you're a foreigner, as long as you're legal, drive for Uber. Worst case scenario. Kathy Webb just moved to Santan Valley from an overpriced apartment, retired and loved the huge house for $500 less. Very peaceful suburban hood with nice neighborhoods. Plenty to do if you like day trips to any interesting spots. Yes, Kathy, she's right. That's what I'm saying. If you're moving to Santan Valley and you don't mind being a homebody and you want a really nice house and you're not really too big on going out for nightlife or entertainment, Santan Valley is perfect. It doesn't get any better than that. But if you need nightlife, Santan Valley might not be for you. So I'm just saying, Santan Valley is, right now it's the edge of nowhere. Gilbert used to be the edge of nowhere 25 years ago. So in 25 years, Santan Valley is going to be like Gilbert is now, but better. The reason I say Santan Valley is going to be a big time area to be in 25 years is because it's up against those Santan mountains, and mountains are of value. But right now, it still needs some development. It's still coming along, so it's not quite there yet. Also, it needs to be incorporated. It's unincorporated right now. And that's even saying if it's going to be called Santan Valley, because Queen Creek might just annex the whole damn thing and take it all over. I want to retire next summer from Brooklyn, New York. Do you recommend drive cross country or fly and transport the car? That's a question for moving. So whenever I move, I always try to sell all my belongings and just take or only essential things. That means I'm selling the bed, I'm selling the couches, I'm selling the TVs, and I'm only taking certain things that I really absolutely need to take, and I'm trying to put it all in a car or a truck. Or if you have a SUV, you can put it into a small U-Haul trailer. I'm not trying to move my whole house all the way across country, even if it means I got to give some stuff away, because I'm starting over. I'm getting rid of all the stuff that doesn't serve me anymore, and I'm moving. I'm starting a whole new thing. And if I got $4,000 for all that stuff, I'm taking that $4,000 when I get to Phoenix, and I'm going to Living Spaces or American Home Furniture, and I'm going shopping with $4,000, and I might end up spending $7,000, but at least I got a whole brand new house with all the good stuff. And I've given away a lot of stuff to whatever I need to give away to. But you can get, if you got a 55-inch TV or a 45-inch TV, you get 100 for a 45 and 200 for a 55. Who knows? Yard sale at Jeffston. There you go. What's up, Michelle? Peter Brown. Santan Valley reminds me of northern burbs of Chicago. Quiet, clean, and slow pace. Yeah, it's quiet, clean, and it's brand new. Everything's brand new. The roads. I mean, they're building these four-lane intersections. Brand new paint, brand new pavement, state of the art, everything, lights and everything. I mean, it's state of the art. It doesn't get any more modern than that. And then around those intersections, they just say, hey, this whole square right here, we're going to build homes. Over here, we're going to put grocery store and shopping communities. But they haven't built a lot of those shopping communities, so they've only built the homes. So you go into all these new home developments, you got basketball courts over here. I mean, master plan communities with the most modern, state of the art mentality being put into all of Santan Valley. It's modern. Although some people say that the homes are not being built with the craftsmanship of a home that was built in the 70s, because they build these houses out of wood and drywall, basically, and stucco. But they're smart home design. We just don't know if they're going to last 100 years. So, I mean, but then again, if you're moving into a brand new house now, does it matter if it's going to last 100 years? Probably not. Well, Santan Valley might be the ticket for you. It is pretty good, but again, if you don't like, for me, I like a nightlife. Santan Valley doesn't have much nightlife. It's got plenty of churches, though. If you're a churchgoer, move to Santan Valley, because there's churches on. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's what they build in Santan Valley. They build fast food, churches, and baseball fields, and a lot of homes. Yeah, that's basically it. So notice I didn't say any bars, no like restaurant chains, but it's good. I mean, I living at my house, I love it if I'm a homebody, but I'm like, I don't want to just spend all the time at work or at home. Like, I want to be able to get in an Uber, go 5 minutes. Like, that's what I've discovered about going all around these cities, is going out is fun. And going out for drinks is fun. But Santan Valley's got a lot of churches, which means that the church people are running the city, and they don't like people to have fun. And you know what church community I'm talking about? They're LDS. LDS does not drink coffee, and LDS does not drink alcohol. Nothing against them. They're very nice people. It's just that's already built into their community, is like, fun does not include alcohol. It includes family fun. So if you're a family, move to Santan Valley. If you're a retiree, move to Santan Valley. But if you're young and you like to go out and you don't want to drive in an Uber for 35 minutes to get it to anywhere, don't move to Santan Valley. Go to Gilbert, which is just about as safe, a little bit more expensive, but better. Chandler wasn't it, says Halloween Jack. There you go. What about the valley fever issue? I love the open skies at night, though. Valley fever is like, whoever keeps talking about valley fever, they're trying to scare you. Valley fever is not really a thing. It happens, but I've never known anyone who's contracted valley fever. And I grew up in Arizona. I mean, people say their dogs get it. I don't know why they keep saying their dogs are getting it. But even then, like, it's mostly these new people. I think they're like, I don't know about this valley fever thing. Like, I don't think it's really a thing. Heat exhaustion for dogs, that can happen. So, yeah, if you're trying to go out in 110 degrees, take your dog for a walk for 2 hours, better make sure you're keeping him with water, especially if he's a bully or something. You know, maybe you shouldn't do that in 110 degrees. I don't know why people take their dogs out in 110 degrees or even 100 degrees. It's kind of common sense. You take your dog out when it's really hot for a long time, and if it's vulnerable to those kind of things, it can get heat exhaustion. But that can happen anywhere. I mean, more people die of heat exhaustion and stuff like that in Chicago than they do in Phoenix. Michelle, she says, just like scorpions. I'm not that worried. Yeah, there's a big fear from people all about these creepy crawlies, the snakes, but in particular scorpions. People are always like, oh man, if I'm this is where managing your expectations becomes more favorable. It's like people are always talking about scorpions. Some places get scorpions. If you're worried about that, ask them. Say, hey, how's the scorpions over here? They might say, oh, we see them once in a while, or you might talk to a neighbor or someone in that area. Some places get them more than others. But at the end of the day, the scorpion problem can be cured by calling the Orkin man. Not literally the Orkin man, but you get it, the bug patrol guy. Say, hey, look, I'll pay you $35 a month. You make sure I don't get any scorpions in my house. He'll say, roger that. And if he doesn't deliver, then call the next guy. But also your neighbors, if you're living in apartments, they could be having basically a SHIT hole, and it's like a breeding ground for scorpions, and those scorpions are finding their way over to your house because your neighbor doesn't know how to clean their house properly. So take that into consideration, like the people you're moving around. Like, are your neighbors sanitary? Are they practicing neighborly hygiene? Stuff like that. So anyways, guys, if you haven't already seen my videos from Island Hopper TV, I'm in Austin. I did a video. I'm taking Sunday kind of to cool down. I'm not really walking around. Some of you guys were saying just because you go to a city for a couple days doesn't mean you know that city. And absolutely, just because I've been in Austin a couple days doesn't mean I know Austin. Just because I've been in Texas for a week or so doesn't mean I think that I know Texas all of a sudden. It takes months to really get to know a place. You got to go through the ups and downs of a place, because every place has an ups and down. Some things are going to over deliver and some things are going to under deliver. They're going to be underwhelming and overwhelming. But there's still a value in going around, in my opinion, going around from city to city in America, getting perspective. I mean, but to do it correctly, yeah, you got to live in each city. But that's not even really humanly possible to live in DC, Philly, Boston, New York, Miami. I mean, I'd have to be a 75-year-old guy. But even then, I wouldn't be getting the up-to-date moment, 2019 version of what that city is like, because I'd be giving you, well, back in 1975, I lived in Philadelphia. Well, that's not relevant to 2020 now, is it? All right, Peter Brown, you are right, Jeff. That's why I've been out Arizona to scope it out before I move out there. Yeah, I mean, if you're moving to Tucson, scope it out. If you're moving to Phoenix, scope it out. But I already gave you the places to look at in Phoenix. And I would say that this is where you should be looking. Scottsdale, Chandler, Gilbert. If you need West Side, go look at Peoria. If you got the big bucks, go to Cave Creek. Go to New River if you want land. If you're trying to go in where the tech industry is developing, go to East Mesa. Ahwatukee is Chandler with the mountain. There you go. Also, if you haven't already joined our group, here's our group, Living in Arizona. You can ask other people besides me. Look at that. Click that link if you haven't already joined that group, Living in Arizona. Ask the questions. Get opinions besides my own. I mean, I'm just a person who gives what is it? A pundit. I'm a talker. That's what you guys tune in for. If I'm not talking, you're not listening. But I'm just one person with an opinion. But the main thing is getting you guys what you want. That's why managing expectations is really important, because What's cool to me might be different for you, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give you what I feel as though is the best information to help you, guide you on your research to, because when you talk to your real estate agent, they might have similar likes to you that can give you even more insight. But it's, where should you start? There's a general spectrum of where you should start. And that's what I'm here to do, is give you guys the generalization of the Phoenix area and Arizona in general. Yes, Rick Travis says, do I have to pay a HOA where you're at? If so, how much per month? I pay $60 per month for an HOA, and I hate it. I don't like it. But there is some value, it helps maintain the community so that people aren't, letting their garage door fall off or putting their, like, our HOA is kind of goofy. I don't know who the heck's running it. They sent an email with like a whole bunch of script and no words or anything, and it was like a really confusing email, but she sent it out to everyone. She must not be very technical savvy. So she sent out a whole big source code of information, and then she realized that she didn't send it out, but what she meant to send out was this picture. Someone in our community had put this old couch that should be in like a garage or in the dump, and they put it on the sidewalk, and she's like, please don't do this. So I mean, if you don't want people doing stuff like that where they're letting their weeds overgrow their palm trees and stuff like that, HOAs have value in that respect. HOAs keep the order, but at the same time, they're like, they tell you what to do, and you got to pay them to tell you what to do, and your neighbors what to do. And so the whole custom house thing goes out the window because everything's got to be cookie cutter. Whoa, 57 people watching and 31 people crushed up the likes. This one's really pumping out there, guys. Would you be able to make a video on Douglas Ranch sometime? Yeah, if I can find out where Douglas Ranch is. I've never heard of it. Douglas Ranch? Douglas Ranch? Where is it? Douglas, let me look it up. Oh, wow. So it's a big time city, or it's a big time master plan community that's in the works in Buckeye. Oh, that's why I don't know about it. I don't spend too much time in Buckeye, but yeah, I'll look into Douglas Ranch. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. So what Douglas Ranch is, for those of you who might want to be interested in it, an Arizona city of the future, Douglas Ranch is poised to become America's most dynamic planned community. It will be a model of bold environmental. So this is on the west side of Phoenix. Remember, I live on the southeast side, which is, if you're in Phoenix, Phoenix is huge. Phoenix is the 5th largest city in America, in case you guys didn't know that. Go look it up. Biggest cities in the USA, 5th, Phoenix. Now that's not talking about metro areas, but if you're just talking about that, but Phoenix is huge. So when you're talking east to west, I mean, it's a long haul. Like, I want to say I don't know how many miles, but it feels like 100. It's not 100. It just feels like it. But Douglas Ranch is out there by Bill Gates' new city that he's building out there, if he ever gets under construction. So west side of Phoenix could potentially end up becoming a place that's very environmentally friendly. It's a smart city, and that's what this Douglas Ranch is. So thank you for pointing that out. This is the first time I've heard of it. True Brilliance says, everyone is from out of town here. Yeah, everyone is from out of town. We have some locals, but actually, we have a lot of locals that chime in here. We actually see them all the time. Truly Brilliant says, Chandler and Gilbert are really nice. Chandler and Gilbert are really nice. That's what she said. Annika said, no, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, but I barely moved here in 2019. Well, you've been here since 2017. 2017 is enough time. Modena and 52nd Street. I don't know Modena. What's the major cross streets over there on 52nd Street in Modena? Dark Fire Knight says RV. I am from Casa Grande. Kate says, California sucks, leaving ASAP. Very interested in Arizona. Thanks for the great info. I mean, a lot of people are leaving California because, like I was telling someone, San Diego is 3 times more expensive for a home. Los Angeles, San Francisco, 3 times the value of a home. You can get a nice home in Phoenix for $250,000. That same home in Los Angeles, $750,000. And it might not even be brand new. I mean, you guys saw that article where posted by KTLA. It's, Los Angeles news. $1,050 for a shed, for rent. A shed. You want to rent a shed? We're talking not even a kitchen, probably not even a bathroom, just a shed. $1,050 in Los Angeles. That's how crazy priced California is. Now, not all of California is that expensive. If you go into the Inland Empire, you might be able to find a good deal, but even central San Joaquin Valley is grossly overpriced. Yeah, I mean, you coming from LA, you're going to be, if you sell a house in LA, $750,000, assuming you have it paid off. By the time you're moving to Arizona, you're paying $300,000 to $350,000 for a really nice house, and you're left with almost like $300,000 to $400,000 in the bank to do whatever you want. Go on a cruise, go to Thailand, go to Switzerland, go to China. Who knows where you want to go? And you still got money left over to go. It's like winning the lottery. I mean, so. Anyone looking for something to do in Phoenix, the state fair is going on now. That's a great point. October, that is the month of the state fair. It goes all the way until Halloween. It's down there at what used to be called the Madhouse on McDowell, the Coliseum. It's the where the Phoenix Suns used to play way back in the 80s. And they still haven't torn it down. It's over on McDowell, and I can't remember, McDowell and like 15th Ave or 7th Ave. I can't remember. It's kind of close to Encanto, but that's the area of the state fair. And state fair is a great place to take kids. They got a petting zoo. They got tons of rides, good food, turkey on a stick or turkey legs, chicken on or corn on a stick, whatever you like. And it happens one month out of the year. We're actually coming into the time where there's going to be more festivals and stuff in Phoenix. Spring is when a lot of festivals happen, but we get Oktoberfest right now. That's another thing to do. Phoenix is a great place to do things, except for June, July, and August. June, July, and August, snowbirds are leaving, and then around about October until May, snowbirds in town, and all the festivals are happening. If you want to know where the snowbirds are coming from, they're coming from actually, I should make a whole video on snowbirds, like a guide to being a snowbird. But snowbirds are coming from Canada. They're coming from Minnesota. They're coming from back east. They're coming from Chicago, but a lot from Canada. Even Utah gets a lot where I live. Anthem Arizona Oktoberfest is coming up next week. There you go. So there's Oktoberfest and the State Fair. That's two things to do if you're looking for things to do just in the month of October. We can talk about things to do in the next live stream for November, because November is coming right up. Also, if you guys are trying to keep up with me on Island Hopper TV, which I know some of you guys want to, and I love to see you guys over there, there's a link to Island Hopper TV right there. I've got walking tours all across Arizona or America and all over the world. But for America, I mean, I just posted the one for Austin, and I think some of you guys should watch that, because that's what it's like in Austin. Oro Valley versus Santan Valley are the two different worlds. Two different worlds, Lindsay. Oro Valley is, yeah, they both have valley in it, but that's kind of where it stops. Oro Valley's got a way more scenic desert. It's closer to Tucson. It's more high end. It's got a lot more golf courses. But the big thing in Oro Valley is the beautiful mountain region that it's around. The Santan Valley has beautiful mountains. It has a view of Red Mountain and Superstition Mountains, but that's really far away. But the Santan Mountains are pretty nice, but they're nothing compared to the mountains around Oro Valley. Oro Valley is going to be like a step above Santan Valley in price and in lifestyle. And if you want to move to Phoenix and have a Santan Valley or a Oro Valley kind of experience, go check out Gold Canyon. Gold Canyon, you could compare Gold Canyon and Oro Valley. So if you wanted to compare Santan Valley to anything, maybe Marana. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Just got here. Love it. So there you go. We got a New Yorker who just moved to Arizona, and he loves it. Thanks to 37 people who crushed up the likes, 60 people watching. Robot in my space. You Americans don't know how to do Oktoberfest. Come to Europe. We'll teach you. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think the Oktoberfest comes from Germany, right? So we even have the Renaissance Festival, which is also part of a European tradition, and they have that in Arizona. When is the Renaissance Festival? I think the Renaissance Festival is in springtime. I want to say March or April. But yeah, Oktoberfest in Germany is a bit different than Oktoberfest in Arizona. That'd be like that'd be like a Mexican restaurant in Munich. You'd be like, oh, you guys out here in Germany don't know how to do tacos. You don't know how to do burritos. Come on out to Arizona. We'll show you how to get down with some Cinco de Mayo. You know, they are all returning in the park I live in. I missed the Burro Run yesterday. I'm in Apache Junction, Mesa. Allergies are kicking my butt, though. Okay, Baja Girl, what? Where did she say? Where did she start? All right, so anyways, you guys should really join that group, Living in Arizona, on Facebook, because it seems like a lot of you guys are already communicating with each other. And if you guys want to coordinate, Living in Arizona on Facebook is where we're doing a lot of coordination. So ask your questions there and befriend each other. And, you know, as people make comments, you know, that's what it's all about. Post pictures of your experience, post pictures of your move, share your experience. If you love Santan Valley, if you don't love Santan Valley, if you just moved from New York and you moved to Gilbert and you absolutely love it, you just moved from New York and you ended up in North Phoenix and you absolutely hate it, share your experience. Notice how I always kind of make that comment about North Phoenix. No, North Phoenix is good north of Bell. North of Bell Road is good. No, north of Union Hills. You go north of Union Hills on North Phoenix and you're in like really nice area. You go south of Union Hills, I don't know, you might not like it. You might save money though. You can find a an apartment in Bell Road and 7th Street for probably $700 a month. But that, let's just call that the methadone mile right there. No, the methadone 5 mile, because it's like 5 miles. There's like a 5 mile square of that area right there where everyone's on. Where like we're talking like 6 or 7 people just mobbing at like on the street at like 11 o'clock at night, just like packed together, like packs of like meth heads. Sorry, it's not like I'm trying to make light of the situation. It's just, and actually, they're not really violent when they're in those packs. They're more or less just like making friends with each other, being pretty friendly, but they're all on meth. So it's kind of weird. It's like almost a glimpse into the future of what the zombie apocalypse could look like. I'm not a big fan of people who do meth. Nothing against the people, but I'm not a big fan of meth. So anyways, guys, thanks to everyone who's been watching this channel, cranking up the likes, and also keeping up with me on Island Hopper TV. Lots of videos coming. I hope to keep on going. We'll see. I'm kind of running out of energy. I'm getting, what is it called? Travel exhaustion, or because I left on August 8th and it's October 13th. So it's been over 2 months that I've been on the road since I left Cancun and I went to South America, and then I came up Miami to Maine, and now I'm over in Central America or Midwest. I don't know if I'm getting travel exhaustion or just missing home, but I'm really loving travel. I always love travel. But that's my channel, Island Hopper TV. The walking trails in Arizona are really nice, says Peter Brown. Kathy, don't turn Arizona into, okay. I'm not going to get into the whole left and right, but you know what he was going to say. He was going to say, don't turn Arizona into a liberal state, but we're not going to get into that. Leave that to those Facebook groups that talk about politics. If you're a Democrat, move to Arizona. If you're a Republican, move to Arizona. We're all in this together, and if anything, we should be trying to meet in the middle. You know, it's like, hey, that doesn't make sense. Hey, that makes sense. So it's kind of like common sense politics. I'm not telling you guys how to vote, but it would be nice to see a little bit more common sense. The state of Maine sucks. I actually like Maine. I don't know if I could handle Maine winters though. Thanks for the videos, Jeff. You're welcome, Linda G. All right, so I'll see y'all next time. And I crave more driving tours. That's what he said. You want more driving tours from around Phoenix? I think I owe you guys one from Peoria at least. But what about these walking tours? Are walking tours boring? All right, guys. So thanks to everyone who cranked up the likes, and we'll see you next time. And I'll see you guys over on Island Hopper TV for real. Come on over. I love when I see people from living in Arizona over on Island Hopper TV because it's compatible. They're two compatible elements in my mind. That seeing the rest of the world, comparing it against Arizona, it's good, not just for travel though. So it's perspective. See you guys.